Hello and welcome once again back to the second day of the Aeon Drive tournament. I'm Warning Track, and I'm joined again by Unknown Availability, who I've been paired with so much.
I'm feeling hype. Who do you think's going to come out with this? We've seen both of these runners play. We've seen them both go in the top 64. So we've seen their play style. We've seen what they've done. Who do you think has the edge here? Warning Track.
I mean, it looked shockingly close. They both showed tremendous command of the dagger, and they played different stages, which is what makes that question so hard, because they're both going to be on a different one now. 1-5 is what they're going to be on, and I assume it's going to be a little more complicated, which makes comparisons even tougher, frankly, because it's not so much going to be just about mechanical skill. It's going to be how people react to this in the moment. But the key here is that there's 30 minutes instead of 10 to grind for the best possible time. So it's going to be a lot less of a sprint and a little bit more of a marathon, as we were discussing earlier, and the player who has a little more stamina, a little better strategic decision-making is the one that's going to come out on top. Do you notice how I completely declined to make a prediction there, because I absolutely have no idea?
Neither do I. Do you notice how I also put that on you instead of you?
Yes, yeah, you were smart. You got ahead of it. You asked, so you didn't have to answer. Yeah, we don't know. All we know, but we can say, though, that I would say both of them looked really good in their first matches. Just real solid play.
Absolutely, and this level is something else. There's a lot of unbeatable danger. You cannot kill these saws. So they're small, itty-bitty saws, and there's really nowhere to throw the dagger in the beginning. So they have to go forward and figure out the fastest way to really utilize that dagger in the beginning and figure it out. So FluffyPrower going ahead and getting a time on the board, saying, you know what, alright, we're going to go ahead and just throw this out there and get this done. Dave the Epic getting his time on the board as well. These are definitely not going to be the final times. We're going to see sub 10. I know we're going to see sub 10. Once they figure this out, it's going to be down to tenths of a second, if not a second, between each of these runners.
I completely agree, and we were talking about kind of the sprint marathon thing earlier, and all the mechanical skill and the tight little spaces we saw in the previous stages. And you notice this is completely different. It's wide open. It's going to be way more about decision making. It's not going to be boom, 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 boom through these tight little corridors. It will be eventually, but in the beginning, it's so open, and you have to make so many good, broad decisions about which way to go. FluffyPrower taking a little breather, as you can see there, deciding what to do. You can still do that early on. You've got 28 minutes left. Dave, though, on the right, DaveTheEpic04, 13 seconds already. I think you're right. Sub 10, very attainable. But when you have those wide open spaces, when you're not near a wall, your teleportation dagger can't get there. It does not traverse the entire length of the screen. So having a good sense of when you can first fire that dagger to hit a wall, that I think is going to be the key here.
Absolutely. And I don't know if there's unfound or possible movement tech when it comes to not having a clear spot to throw your dagger, because I'm kind of seeing this from Dave the Epic right now, throwing it at a downright angle as they're jumping. It looks like it can get you a little bit further than just trying to dash or run forward.
I think you're right, and we're seeing FluffyPrower do it in the very beginning. Let's see if they try it right here as an example of what you're talking about. 3, 2, 1, and no, they didn't. In the last run, they did it, though. They did exactly what you were talking about to sort of get started a little earlier, and I think you're right. It might be one of those things where once speedrunners discover that, say, some kind of ground dash or something like that, I'm going to slide is slightly quicker than walking, they do it every single time they have an opening.
Exactly. It's going to be some sort of quick movement tech that once it's figured out, it is going to be utilized. And that's the thing about speedrunning communities, and it's going to happen with this game, and I can't wait for it. They're going to figure out every possible break. They're going to look at every possible millisecond they can to figure out the fastest way to speed run a game. It's just, you see it all the time in older games in the NES and SNES era, where new groundbreaking things are found and it's just immediately implemented as an entire group, and it's so fun to watch.
I think groundbreaking is exactly the right word for hurling the dagger at the ground. Well done. And you called the 10 seconds, by the way. It only took Dave about 3 minutes to get under 10, and then shortly after, 9:03, which is the high score as we speak. We're just a few minutes into this. We're at 9 seconds already. You gotta wonder how much lower it can go.
Oh yeah, and I mean, considering we're only 4 minutes in, this is why these are 30 minutes. I wasn't sure about this 30-minute time frame previously. Whenever we were first starting to do this commentary, I was like, yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah.
But they've used every possible second of it, and they've shaved off tenths of a second here and there and there and here and just everywhere they can possibly look. And I think what FluffyPrower is doing right now is just looking at possible angles and not really caring too much about a load time where DaveTheEpic is doing the grind. They're going through and they're just blazing through as fast as they can, and as they go through each time and find the end of the level, they're like, okay, well, I can optimize here, I can optimize here, where FluffyPrower is taking it more this section, breaking it down into little sections and then finishing.
Yeah, you're seeing the difference in approach, and this is how DaveTheEpic approached it last time, too, against Ortega, which they, again, barely won, 0.06 seconds, and their opponent beat their time just after the buzzer. But this is what Dave did. Went all the way through and just started grinding immediately. FluffyPrower, as you say, trying to kind of settle in on their first few moves, and focusing on this opening in particular, which I think makes a lot of sense, not just because it's the opening, but because, as I said earlier, it's wide open. It's a bit of a test. There's definitely room for optimization here, and you know the devs were thinking of this when they handcrafted this level.
Absolutely, and
under 9. Look at that. Dave just got under 9.
Man, this commentator's shaking his head, going, "This is insane and so just amazing." I watch these runners do this and break apart these levels, and it's so impressive. It's very, very just so skilled, so just insanely good. I shout outs to these folks, and shout outs to the developers, Too Awesome Studio, for coming up with the teleportation dagger and really making that the utilization of this game and the focus of this game. Again, coming out September 30th, Aeon, Team Aeon Drive, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and you can wishlist it on Steam right now, coming out September 30th.
I shouldn't have started this conflict. You know, the matches are competitive, but casting's supposed to be co-op, so, oh well. It's my fault. I started this war, and there's going to be no way to end it. Dave is grinding down and down and down to under 9, and FluffyPrower, as you said, doing it very differently. General approach. I would say FluffyPrower is making an investment that they hope is going to pay off at the end of this, in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Rather than try to get a time now, you can see just under 14. They're not concerned with that yet. There's still a lot of time left, 23.5 minutes. But they are breaking this into chunks, trying to find out how to open that, trying to find out if they can throw that dagger just past this first saw, for example. We've seen them die right here a few times. Look at that. Just got past it. That was after several deaths to that same saw. They're just trying to optimize the beginning of this. They're also, I hope they get to this kind of wall about halfway through, because they're doing something very interesting with it. They're kicking it up several times at once. Let's see right here. Right there, like that, and then they're trying to shoot right through. Look at that. It wasn't quite perfect. That took them several tries. They hung out in that area for about 20 or 30 seconds trying to get that sequence right. I think when they nail it, it's as quick as anything.
Yeah, and you know, that's the thing that we're talking about too with the movement tech. Obviously, in that instance, with it being a tighter wall, the wall jumping, it feels like, or at least looks like, you can get some quick, just snap of the finger wall jumps in that small section that the dagger just isn't going to give you enough room. So in that instance, wall jumping is a lot better, which is awesome to see that a level is going to say, all right, now you have to utilize this wall jump here. And FluffyPrower has that wall jump down.
Yes, that was so good. They realized, I think, they only have to do one wall jump, then they shoot the dagger into the ceiling, and as they're falling, they shoot it through that little crevice right there. That, I think, is actually the optimal strat here, and this is what FluffyPrower has spent their first 7 or 8 minutes trying to do, is find that optimal strat and then grind for it, because they have a full half hour this time. This would not work in the 10-minute format, but it can work in the 30. It would not surprise me at all if DaveTheEpic technically leads this most of the time, and then in the last few minutes, or let's say just the back half even, FluffyPrower shows up with a sub-8 or something crazy because they got that down.
And you know, it's almost a poetic justice, because that's what DaveTheEpic did to their opponent in the top 64. They snuck in at the very end of a 10-minute round and got that final time, and then unfortunately their opponent finished faster after the time. So it's kind of one of those great moments we love to see as commentary, where two runners that have not faced off yet end up having something very similar go on in their matchup that happened prior.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a lot of echoes like that. Every match has been a little different, but there have been similarities in that you'll have one player approach things one way, another way, and it's usually the same 2 or 3 choices over and over again. And it also varies, certainly, with the specific level. You actually don't know going into these levels what's going to make the most sense. You have to spend a little time experimenting no matter who you are, but there's still a difference in style where some people stop experimenting earlier or they pick it back up late. A lot of it has to do with how good that time is in the first half of the allotted time. There it is. So clean from Prower. There it is. That's what they've been trying to do this whole time. And you can see, they almost look so happy and shocked. They kind of just stopped for a full second and then jumped into the blade to start over again. I wonder if they're not even interested in trying to finish, because that part's a lot simpler. I think they just want to try to grind that middle part. And that's kind of the problem, right? Is that when the part you're trying to grind is in the middle or the back half, you end up spending a lot more time just getting to it.
Yeah, you've got to... And that's where FluffyPrower is taking their sections. They're going through... I wouldn't be surprised if... Because they have the pauses, I wouldn't be surprised if they're a note taker. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a notepad open on their computer or even a pen and paper right next to them, and they're like, okay, this here, and they're just taking quick notes saying, this is where I want to go, this is what I want to do, and then putting it all together and sewing it together and just knocking it out at the very end.
A runner after my own heart. Love a good spreadsheet, love a good database. A note-taking, low-tech version, that'll work too. Whatever it is, that kind of thing is what I like to do whenever I'm playing pretty much any kind of game. Here's Prower again. That's the first time they've missed that little fancy wall maneuver in, I think, 3 or 4 attempts. They don't have it down, but they're getting to the point where they're hitting it more often than not. And the opening is looking pretty crisp too. So I think they're getting close. I think they're getting really close to a really good time.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And I think they just figured out something they want to do at the end right there. That little ledge that's over the top, they can do 2 quick dagger throws. That's one thing that's very cool about this dagger. You can technically throw, teleport, and continuously do that and not fall. You can stay on screen and constantly do that and almost hover in a sense.
Oh, I think that's a new low for them. Yeah, look at that. They were at 10-2-4 before that just now, and I think they might have. Did they just break 10? I think they did. That is an 8-8-8. That is a 0.04 second lead over DaveTheEpic, somehow closer than the match we saw earlier, which was somehow closer than the match we saw yesterday. It keeps getting closer. Are we going to see a tie, man?
Oh, please. Wow.
It's possible, right?
It is absolutely possible. I'm not sure what's going to happen in the event of a tie. Maybe the next person that gets a faster run? We don't know. A tie seems possible but unlikely, but we've had so many close runs now. Is the commentary curse coming out?
Yeah. I mean, look, if you want a faster run, it's really simple. You know what we have to do? We just have to say, hey, I don't think they're going to beat this time. And then it'll happen.
I'm going to leave that to you since that happens so many times.
Oh, man, look at this. So look at Prower's run right there was so good, and it was still 9-something. There's so little left on this run. That investment we talked about, not only is it paid off, it's paid off, and we're not even halfway through yet. They have got that run, again, I don't want to say optimized, but there's just so little left already after all that testing, all that tech, all that focusing on the middle, that wall jump stuff we were talking about. Got it down to 1 wall jump and then a dagger up into the ceiling. They've got it down to 8-8-8, and I just don't think there's that much room. But they've got this so early, like Vegan Tyler did yesterday, that I think they have time to experiment now on different routes.
Oh, definitely. And that's the thing, too. We haven't even said it yet. They're doing different routes. They're going different directions. Dave is going up top and using that to their advantage, where Fluffy is going through the bottom route, and it's seemingly faster than what Dave's doing. But this is where Dave has really almost proven what can work for Dave.
Yes.
Going the same route, grinding it out, and just learning the route they want and not spending the time on other routes. That's why 30 minutes is so critical, so crucial, because once you feel good about your route, that's when, after about 15, even 20 minutes in the last 10, you can take another route and say, okay, well, maybe this is faster, let's grind it for 10 minutes and see what happens.
And there's still a lot of room for improvement on Dave's side. There's just a lot less flying around, a lot more standard platforming. That is Prower with 8. Look at the 884, I want to say. Did they just shave 04 seconds off? 883.
3, wow.
Shaved 0.58. I just don't think this run's going to get much faster, and there's about half their time is left. I think it's going to make sense for them very, very soon to switch to that top route, which does seem potentially faster, especially with the mechanical advantage that I think they're showing over DaveTheEpic. And again, that's marginal. It's not that DaveTheEpic is any slouch here mechanically. We're just seeing a little more precision from Fluffy in part because they're grinding the same area over and over again. And if they take that same style to the top route there, I think they could lower that time even more.
I'm loving the just everything I'm seeing about it. The ending of that run that we just saw, that 883, was beautiful. There is a... This game really isn't done in blocks. There's really not the way that they've designed some of the sections, but you see at the very end on Epic, Dave the Epic side, there is that little ledge. Boom, they hit up above them, and then there is another one that is literally just a couple blocks over that they can hit as well to land on the ending portal. It was so beautiful to see on Prower's side. It was just absolutely gorgeous to look at.
Yeah, it was. And by the way, we have 30 seconds left until exactly 15 minutes. That is the halfway point, and I'm going to say that's interesting because if someone was thinking, I'll try one thing for one half and one for another, we'll find out right after.
Yeah, and we were less than 1/10 of a second away from each other right now. This run is very close, and it's just going to be a matter of who gets the optimization faster. Dave deciding not to use the teleportation dagger at the end there, just kind of jumping through. Obviously not getting a faster time, but saying, all right, it's going to be faster to finish this level, and then go on, maybe see the actual leaderboard and see how far behind they are.
What I find interesting is that I think Fluffy is so happy at this point with what they've done at the middle at the end of these that when they miss anything in the first half, they immediately die. They immediately find the nearest saw or laser wall. And I think they're thinking, I've got this route down, I don't need to practice anything anymore. This is all about perfection. If I miss something, missed one shot there and decided to go for it. That's interesting. Every other time they've lost, missed a shot, or had any kind of imperfection over the last 5 or 6 runs, they've just immediately made for the nearest saw. This is all about shaving time off now.
Yeah, and honestly, the route that they have, I think is... I don't know. They have a good route. Is it faster than the route that Dave is taking? I think it is probably a little bit slower, and if Dave can just get the dagger throws very precise and down, they can shave off enough time to go ahead and get the lead, which is very possible. 14 minutes now left. It's anything is possible. We can see probably, I think sub 8 is possible. I really do.
Yeah.
I think it is possible.
At
it's
the
just
top
a matter
route,
of,
I think.
Yeah, it's just a matter of nailing every possible throw.
I think that's right, and I think Dave can grind this out with just a little more of the dagger throws at the top route, especially if Fluffy never tries the top. But I think, I mean, we still don't know. They could say, maybe 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes is when I try other stuff. But given their play style, this kind of grinding thing that they're doing where they just get really, really good at the same route, they're going to have to switch pretty soon, I think. If they want to get anything going on the top route, they're going to give themselves time to take kind of the same grindy, iterative mentality that they've taken for the bottom route.
Absolutely. And really, we need to see more dagger throws from Dave the Epic.
Yes.
Dave's got to use this dagger. The dagger is the way to go, and just too many just hold right and platform run style in this game, and this game just lends itself to constantly using that teleportation dagger. You're not going to get any faster. It's just not going to happen. A dagger is the fastest form of travel in this game.
Oh wow, this is crazy. This is really crazy. So if Dave wins this with that 887 that they've got right now, sorry, they're gonna need to shave just I think 0.05 off, right? 0.05 would do it. If Dave wins this, it will be the first match we've seen where the winner was not the person who used the dagger the most or the most efficiently.
So we are getting some confirmation about the way that this game will time. It does go to the extra, I guess it would be milliseconds. So there will not be a tie. The chances of a tie are so astronomically low that it's not going to happen.
Well, how about the caster's curse for that one?
I mean, if it does happen, you know what? I'll gift 5 subs to speedrun. How about that? I'm putting my money on the line.
I'm in with you. I'm in with you.
So
it would be worth it. It would be totally worth it.
And there we go. So look at this right now. I see 0.05. No, 0.04.
Yep. 0.04.
Between these two. That is so close.
So close. So close.
Insane.
Fluffy just had an amazing run, and it was still 8.9. I think there's almost 10 minutes left. I think you need you need to start exploring the top. If they don't do it soon, they're not going to have time to optimize. It's going to be very unlikely that they're going to be able to beat them that way. But they do have that lead, and Dave right now is just, unless they start taking more chances. Oh, let's see. I want to see right here. I want to see Dave. Dave is starting to go top middle now, is what they're doing. Because it's not just top bottom. A lot of these stages we've seen, there's a top route, there's a bottom route in general too, but there's also a point where they meet in the middle, and you can decide to go either way so that you get more combinations possible.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this, Fluffy, as far as optimization is concerned, is so... They're better at using the dagger than Dave the Epic, but I feel like Dave the Epic is actually better at finding the fastest route. It's just a matter of optimizing it enough. I feel like Dave the Epic on the 2 matches we've seen so far has found the fastest route, and they got to use that down dagger.
I know, they're leaving time on the table. I really want to Frankenstein these two together and have Dave make the choices and Fluffy use the dagger and see what we can come up with. We might get sub 7 if we ever did that. But again, Dave's still doing a great job here. It's just right next to Fluffy right now, who is just optimizing the heck out of this run. I don't think they're going to top their time right now. It doesn't feel like that. I'm going to go ahead and risk the curse because they've been at it for a while and the runs look so clean, and you'll think, what can they do? And you look up and it's actually slightly slower than that best we have right now, 8.83, which again is just 0.04 higher, lower rather, I should say, better than Dave. These numbers have been there for quite a while now, and there's under 10 minutes left.
The one thing that I'm seeing at the end of the top route, Dave can throw that dagger to the right and hit the wall that is just above the ending portal, and then down right and land the dagger on the portal. And that is a real optimization there that I'm seeing that is 100% possible. Because if you look at on Prower's end, you see where the... Was that?
Sorry, I just thought, is that a new best, or we just short? No, it's 887, my mistake. They basically just tied Dave's second place time. Yeah, please continue. I think you're saying you're right. You can throw the dagger right onto the foot of the portal there if you line it up just right for Dave.
Exactly. And you see it on Dave's side. They hit that wall there, and if they down right, they're going to hit the platform that the portal's on. So they're leaving tenths of a second on the board by doing that. Literally, that's what they need. They need that 0.0x time off, and by falling, you're taking too much time.
Yeah, Dave could be one dagger throw away, doing the exact same run they've been doing, throw one more dagger at the end, and win this at the end. I think that could happen. And there's so little time left that it's looking increasingly like Fluffy is going to live or die with this time, or maybe try to shave just a little bit more off of it. I don't know how possible it is. I don't know how plausible it is, because they're just nailing almost all their runs there. Yeah, I think Fluffy is committed to this time, maybe slightly lower, but Dave, if they just throw one more dagger at the end of an otherwise strong run, could clutch this out at the end.
And that's the way Dave did it last time too, in the final minute or so, getting a faster time than their opponent in the top 64. Can Dave do it again? For all you Dave fans, cheer on Dave in the chat, get it in there, because literally we're at 0.04 difference. All Dave needs is 0.05 shaved off of their route, and they have it. If Fluffy can't shave off any more time on theirs, so it's looking like it's, and Fluffy actually using that comment that I made at the end of their run, whenever they throw 2 up daggers and then 1 down right onto the platform. So they're using that optimization, and they're almost getting to their same time. I think you're right. It's going to be very hard to beat that 8.83 on their end.
If this margin holds, we got to rename him Dave the Epic 0.004 because that is where we still stand with 7 minutes left. If he does clutch this out, though, I'll say the other way. He graduates to Dave the Epic 5. We'll see. We'll see. I think the number should go up every time he wins a match.
Dave got it.
He got it. 878.
878. Dave in the
Dave the Epic 5. It's official.
7 minutes left in this, and this is why that 30-minute timer is so critical, because honestly, again, Dave made it here because there was only 10 minutes. Because they almost did not make it. Their opponent in the top 64 beating it after the fact of the 10 minutes. Dave is ahead right now by 0.005. Is that what I'm saying? Is my math correct?
Dave's route to the top 16 here could just be so hilariously improbable. If that first match had been 10 minutes and 10 seconds, they would have lost.
Exactly. If it would have been just a little bit longer, they would have not made it to the top 32. But it's looking like if Fluffy cannot shave off any more tenths or hundredths of a second, then Dave is going to move on to the top 16, which is going to be very impressive.
This is crazy. I mean, look, Fluffy has been grinding this same route almost the entire time. I'm really surprised that we haven't seen any other attempts here. Especially, but now it's too late. I don't think you can go to the top route maybe with 5 minutes left. Maybe this is just enough time to try.
I'll tell you right now, with Fluffy, the way I see them playing, if they just do it without trying to do maybe the methodical method of breaking it down into sections, they have the movement tech pretty well. They understand how the dagger works pretty well. So if they just get up there and imagine and go for that top route, then it is going to be a possible win. Again, you said it best. I don't see them shaving much more time off of their current route. I just don't.
There's a little there, right? There's a couple of slides available that sometimes they miss a dagger throw and they fall just short, right around 9 seconds. I think they basically have to do this route. You can't say perfect, but functionally really, really close to perfect, and they only have 5 minutes to do it. They are all in on this strat. They are not going to go the top route. I don't see how at this point. They are totally locked in to doing a perfect run here to beat Dave the Epic. Otherwise, it's going to be another razor-thin marginal victory for Dave the Epic at 878. What is this? Wait, what is this? Is that an 837? It's an 837 from Fluffy! He finally did it! He finally busted, and with almost a half-second extra, that might have been the perfect run! There's less than 5 minutes left! I don't see how Dave can top this again unless they try something else, and as I mentioned, there's just no time left. Dave has got to get a few more dagger throws in there. Fluffy! Oh my goodness!
I have never been more happy to be proven wrong as a commentator. Like, literally, shut me up. I'm supposed to be talking, but Fluffy said, I don't like your words. So they shut us up.
8.5 from Dave. It's not enough. That would have been massive 60 seconds ago, but it's already old news because FluffyPrower jumped a full half second after being stuck on their best for, I'd say, close to 15 minutes. Fluffy is actually committed to this route still. I just don't know how they can go any lower than that 837. They did what they just did! Oh, they made me look so stupid! 8.10! You know what? I'm leaning into the curse. If we keep saying they can't do it, will they keep doing it?
Will they get the sub 8? It's not possible, chat. There's no way. There's no way Fluffy's gonna get a sub 8 on this route.
Do it.
How could they?
Do it. Let's do it. Lean into it. Nothing makes us happier than looking like idiots on speedruns because it's so freaking exciting. I love it. 8.1. Dave, it's not gonna work. You gotta do something different. 8.55. You wouldn't, if you told me 5 minutes ago that was going to be Dave's, I'd say not only are they going to win, they're going to win with plenty of room to spare. But Fluffy almost stubbornly saying, I'm going to grind the same route for 30 consecutive minutes, and it works, or at least it's worked so far.
It's paying off. I am floored. The foot in mouth disease right here with this commentator, just like. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. 8.1 it's right there on the screen.
Make me eat the other foot. I would love it. I love nothing more than seeing these guys surprise us over and over again. Tempt fate and watch them do it again. 8.1 for Fluffy. Look at that. Anything that's not perfect, they just get the heck out of there. There's no use. If you miss any little optimization, you're not going to beat that 8.1, and they know it.
And you know what? With coming up on 2 minutes and 10 seconds left, Dave's going to have to really pull this out. Don't forget, Aeon or Aeon Drive coming out September 30th. You can wishlist this on Steam or wait for it to come out on Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. You can get it all 4 platforms if you like. I'm sure the devs would be thrilled to hear you bought it 4 times. I shout outs to 2 Awesome Studio for putting together just a hype game. This is so awesome to watch. So many great optimizations. You can take this game casually as well. There is a story involved with this game, so you can see it that way as well as kind of get an intro into speedrunning. I think this game is a very good way to just learn how controls work with a platform speedrunner, right? I love it. It's a great intro. but we're at 1 minute and less than 1 minute and 30 seconds. Can Dave clutch this out and get less than an 8-10 with their current route? It's gonna be tough. Can Dave do it?
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't believe how much back and forth we've seen there. I can't believe Fluffy found an extra second almost in that same route. Dave is just spending just way too much time platforming. You know, I know it's a platformer ostensibly, but that's kind of the trick, right? It presents itself as a platformer, but it's really about that teleportation. Fluffy seems to get that. I didn't think it was going to be enough because I'm not sure they've chosen the more efficient route, but if the more efficient route, not done as efficiently, is the less efficient route.
Oh wow, that Fluffy just had such a good run there. Oh my lord.
And it was still only 8.5. It was still a half second slower. Dave the Epic, by the way, has taken a shirt off. We're down a layer. They say in the last 30 seconds, this was what was weighing them down. They'll be slightly faster with a little less clothing, I guess.
You know, it's,
a few more chances. This is it for Dave. This is it for Dave.
Oh,
every
man.
little A.
This is the last run. This is the last run. He's got to nail it. Oh,
he didn't.
No, he missed it.
It nailed him into the saw.
One more time. It is a sub 10 run, so if they go now, come on.
And that's it.
No.
That's it.
That's it. That's it.
FluffyPrower's got it. Look, of course he takes the shirt off. You don't see an Olympic sprinter wearing a cardigan, you know? You need every little edge you can get. That has been the name of the game here. FluffyPrower, 30 consecutive minutes grinding the same route, and it pays off. 0.42, which for our purposes actually almost doesn't even feel close, given how razor thin this was before.
That is wild. I cannot believe the amount of time that was shaved off it consecutively, literally within a minute of each other. Fluffy just nails the run, getting an 8.1 on this, and Dave, no slouch, right behind with the 8.52. Shout outs to FluffyPrower. Moving on to the top 16. Very hype match. I loved every bit of it. Again, Aeon/Eon Drive coming out September 30th on all your favorite platforms, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and you can favorite it right now or wishlist it on Steam, and it will be coming out September 30th. Definitely go do that because you can also see yourself running these games and see the leaderboard at the end. We're going to have a couple more matches coming up with the top 64s again in the same format, 2 64s and then going into the 32. We do have a little bit of an extended break. There has been a couple of no-shows today as well. No big deal, but you're going to have Catherine and Avalon coming up shortly, and they're going to be leading you on and helping you cheer on these runners. Thank you again, everybody. Stick around. We love you, and thank you again.